Hi, I'm just northwest of Quesnel, BC, Canada, close to the Blackwater River with its mountainous terrain to demonstrate my patented portable electric fencing system in some of the most hostile wildfire-prone areas BC has to offer. This new no-drag post does elevation changes automatically, speeding up the install. This terrain can't be grazed by cattle because the mountain is too steep. It's loaded with deadfall, has no fields to make it cost effective to fence, has no water within walking distance, and is mainly managed by the forestry industry for growing trees. This is prime habitat for wildfires, which can be brought in check with goats, sheep, and maybe the odd Highland bull. They stomp around the paddock, busting up all kindling on the ground, snapping off all the branches on the lower parts of the trees, feeding it to the soil, then fertilize the place with manure, encouraging the trees to grow up tall, healthy and straight. A 1-acre wildfire puts out as much pollutant as 4,000 cars every second that it burns. Canada and the USA spend $2.5 billion a year on wildfires. Fire kills roots 3 feet down and does not fix nitrogen in the soil. The best forests evolved with animals pulling fertility in the form of ocean-going fish out of the creeks and rivers and depositing the wastes on the forest floor. I replicate this with a cafeteria-style mineral box with all the 16 plus separate minerals, including kelp. The livestock know exactly what the forest is deficient in, and they eat and deposit it there for the ecosystem to utilize. Split hooves of the ruminants evolved to disturb the surface for water catchment and seed growth, and produce a form of swale over time, similar to PA Yeoman's water catchment. Water is more expensive than oil, and in the past, North America's landscape was 8% beaver ponds. Drought-prone areas should have 15% of land mass in water storage. Soil can hold 1 inch of rain for every 3 inches of soil. Takes just under ½ inch of rain on the forest canopy before rain touches the ground, and a further ½ inch before the ground starts to absorb it, and once saturated becomes runoff, same as money down the drain, or creek in this case. Using my modified 20 horsepower 30-inch wide brush mower to clear the fence line on the more level areas, it's easy to snake around the more valuable timber the forest industry paid to plant and grow. I had a bit of tough go there because the locking hub was spinning in the wheel shaft, which I'll have to weld up later. As for the string trimmer with the brush blade, it has to be a Star because the plywood style blades are junk, and a Star you can hit with a file time to time. This one is a rental because mine's in storage. I've been wanting to buy 2 old 4.5 feet wide forestry mulchers sitting in Prince George for as long as I can remember. They would be perfect for this soon to explode industry, which is reclaiming farmland, fire suppression, the tree planting industry, invasive weeds, and even city brush control. Canfor spends $150 to $2,000 an acre for chemical treatments. Unlike the Australia dog herders the forestry industry brought in years ago to test, my fencing does not induce stress and acts as a brake and accelerator on the eating behavior of the animals. When you're moving the goats daily, they don't feel the need to hassle the planted trees, just the competing brush, making it a perfect match of sustainability from all angles. As for the accompanied guardian dog, they are submissive to this livestock, and for the most part the same color, thereby blending into the herd. This paddock I'm setting up is on a ridge 180 feet tall and at some points almost vertical and will be just an acre. This would be the most expensive and difficult scenario to graze, but a fraction of the cost when fires break out. They say coniferous trees are less desirable for green forage finishing goats for slaughter and would have to be factored in on the cost. But as soon as the brush was gone, I'd move them and think they'd be just fine for the barbecue. I would have to use a water trailer till the walking paddocks get close to a natural water site. That is if I were running animals and not just doing a demonstration. It's also a good idea to wear a hard hat like I am there, as they don't call dead trees and falling tree branches widowmakers for nothing. Be mindful of stored energy in hanged up trees. They'll kick and could kill when released with a cut. You'll also notice I don't unlock the chain on the power saw till my feet are well planted. I file down the guide teeth on that $1,000 commercial saw, so it's aggressive, and even falling on a stopped chain is no joke. I am running 3 lines for this demo because if I were grazing this stuff, I'd have my own highly trained animals trained to 3, if not 2 lines. My prototype posts have fixed heights, but I will hopefully get the manufacturers to have adjustable heights on the finished posts. Using goats as an example, you'll have to find some just weaned animals so they aren't taught to challenge the electric fence by their elders. Stick them in a corral that they physically cannot escape from, then put the hottest wire securely down one side against the wall. When they take a hit, they bounce off the wall without going through the hot line, teaching them that this fence cannot be passed. Do this for a week or 2, then ruthlessly call any animal that challenges that fence. Make sure the fence is always on and above 6,000 volts, closer to 10,000. As for all the twigs along this fence, it will still be above that and have the added benefit of a snap sound reminder that every animal will know and fear. The technology in these new chargers are so crisp and clear, they will not start fires by themselves. In time, the herd will look up to you and be content with the little piece of heaven you gave them, and look forward to the next move. The rare time I've had to walk them down a road or field to a new paddock, all I'd have to do is walk fast in front of them, because their walk is faster than a man, and they just follow me knowing I lead them to food every time. Once the animals clear out a paddock, you can see all the deadfall that is off the ground, and using a quad as a skidder, pull them out and buck them up into firewood. With all the brush gone, you can see where you can drive the quad with ease. Anything 8 inches or more is nice firewood. If the base of a dead standing tree is close enough to grab with the chain and the truck, fall it further away towards another dead tree, whether standing or laying. Then if the tree is standing, fall the second tree so that the tops can be chained together. Then pull both out with the pickup. The quad you'll have to do logs separately or in halves, but the maneuverability is better. As a general rule, I leave the odd dead standing tree for the woodpeckers, especially if it has nest holes carved in them. A good livestock dog is a must to defend the herd and all the grazing gear in the remote locations that they find themselves in. The guardian is the only animal you'll have to feed. I use the covered self-serve feeder. Goats won't climb under the canvas. The dog food should not be rationed. It takes a lot of energy to run up and down mountain paddocks all night. They do rotational echo barking, making themselves sound like a larger pack of defenders. If the intruder gets within eye shot, they show the largest part of their body while constantly moving to confuse the opponent on their numbers while barking to intimidate and scare off any trouble. Don't be confused to see a guardian sleeping on high ground all day. He defends against a whole forest of predators come night. Insurance companies, governments, town councils, and even concerned citizens should be pounding on my door, asking me when can I graze their areas. If the electric fence companies fail to see the usefulness of this system, I'll have to see what some of the more accurate parts manufacturers in Vancouver can produce me the components for. Maybe start selling them myself. Of course, I'd rather get set up grazing and putting out weekly video paddocks moves involving massive animal numbers, sculpting parks out of chaos. Having seen things that would go viral 100 times over with these multi-species herds, all I'd have to do is film them a bit every day, and it would be what people would want and enjoy. I'm sure of it.